Hey Sheree, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut your prescription into your Calvin Klein frames that you sent me, that you found elsewhere, but you wanted me to put lenses in them. So I'm going to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is put your frame into my Santinelli LE1000 patternless edger. The stylus is going to trace the shape of your right lens, and then it's going to move over and trace the shape of your left lens. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. Of course, you buy the frame and you get free single vision prescription lenses and or clear non-prescription fashion lenses. But no, Sheree, you had to buy your frame elsewhere. That's why I'm charging you for the lenses. So your pupillary distance is 61.5. Let me put that into the computer. This is a polycarbonate lens that I'm going to cut on the soft cycle because of the anti-glare coating, and this is a Xyle frame, which is old school name for plastic. So your prescription reads plus 50 minus 2 at 88. So I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 88. Put the power drum on plus 50. I'm going to put your lens in and rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. I'm going to check for your astigmatism correction, and that is perfect. So I'm going to put some dots on these lenses, which you cannot see at home, that I can barely see here. So I hold them up to the light, put a dot on each one, and this is the right lens, so let me mark that right. We'll do the same thing for the left now. Plus 50 minus 1 1/4 at 94. That was 88, wasn't it? Yeah, let's go to 94 now. And we're still at plus 50. We are good, so I'm going to put that in there. Check everything, that's perfect. Let me center that lens a little bit better. Okay, we are good. Put some dots on there. I'm going to have to get some new ink. I can barely see this myself. And this is the left lens. So in order to make this work, I've got to put this lens into the machine to cut. I have to attach this block to it. That's what's going to hold it in the chuck while it's cutting. So I'm going to put this block into my blocker, and believe it or not, 3M, the same people who make the Post-it notes, make the pads for us. The black side is the sticky side, so I'm going to stick that onto the block, pull away the tape to make this side sticky. And what I've got is an optical crosshair. I've got a vertical meridian and a horizontal meridian. I made sure to line everything up perfectly. I'm going to do the same thing with your left lens. Put the block on there, pull that pad off, stick it on there, pull the tape away, get everything lined up perfectly on the optical center, and we are good. One more thing I want to do is, because you upgraded to the anti-glare coating, which makes everything a little bit, your anti-glare coating is a hydrophobic coating, meaning that it's slippery. So I'm going to put another little sticky pad on the back so that there's no way this could slip in the chuck. So I'm now putting it into the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charles, because I don't know it well enough to call it chuck. But the first thing that's going to happen is these calipers are going to come down and it's going to trace the shape of your right lens onto the concave side of the lens first, which sits closest to the eyelashes. Then it's going to move over and trace the convex side of the lens, which sits away from the face. All the while measuring the thickness of the lens to know exactly where to place the bevel so the least amount of the lens could show. The actual cutting wheel is down here on the very bottom. It's that lighter color wheel. It's like a heavy grit sandpaper. That's going to grind away your polycarbonate material, and this wheel in the center, which has that channel, that valley in there, that's going to cut away. It's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. I will have to close the door, but for now I just want you to see as your prescription lens touches down onto the cutting wheel. This whole process will take about 15 minutes. It's now 7:57 on Monday, May 19th. 73 degrees in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina, at least according to my Samsung Gear 2 watch. Now your prescription reads in your right eye plus 50 minus 2 at 88. Your left eye reads plus 50 minus 1 1/4 at 94. What these numbers actually represent, your right eye, and the unit of measurement in the optical world is called a diopter, and that is spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. So it starts at 0, which is no prescription, and goes up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4, 150, 175, 2, and we'll stop there. So without your glasses on, things are actually smaller than they appear. So when you look at my waistline with your glasses off, it looks nice and small. When you put them on, it will actually magnify to the correct size. So you need 2 steps of magnification to get everything clearly. Most of your prescription is astigmatic, and there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. It is not a disease. It's not an affliction. It fluctuates. It comes and goes. It's no big deal in the optical world. Although in contacts it costs more, but in glasses it's free. So you need 8 steps of correction here. This number gets everything the correct size. Your astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s and P's and F's look fuzzy. So this takes away the fuzzy edges, magnifies the correct size, takes away the fuzzy edges. Your left eye, 2 steps of correction, but only 5 steps of correction for your astigmatism. And these numbers on the end have no real value. These are the fine-tune knob. If this were a button and we were fine-tuning those fuzzy edges, this is where we turn that knob to. This straight line, I have it being 0 and 180 as part of a circle, 0, 90, 180, 270, and back to 0. For your right eye, we would turn that knob to an 88, which is almost at 90. Your left eye is 94, so we go just past that. And that's where we turn everything to make it nice and clear and crisp. So Sheree has been with me a while. She's gotten this many pair of glasses from me. She has moved away, so that's why she mailed me her glasses. And I will mail them back to her. Of course, free shipping anywhere in the United States. And if it's somewhere exotic, I would love to deliver them myself personally. If you notice, the water jets have just kicked in. Polycarbonate, which is what your lenses are made out of, cuts dry. Only at the very end of the cycle does the water kick in, where plastic and high index, the water runs all the time. And your lenses are polycarbonate, which is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. Your lenses are actually unbreakable, bulletproof up to 22 caliber, and has both UVA and UVB protection in them. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure. Your eyes are actually 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you now have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, so you never have to worry about that there. And one more thing about your lenses, they're actually aspheric, meaning it's a flatter curvature. Anytime you buy prescription lenses on the internet, and actually this is a little bit rough, so I want to smooth these out. I'm going to use my handstone, which is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running, and my finger gets warm due to the friction. But it's that friction that causes me to be able to smooth out these rough edges. If you notice that little white powdery substance that's on your lens, that's called Schwarf. I'm going to use my thumbnail to scrape all of that off and drop it on the counter. I do that so much I've worn a bevel, a V-shaped bevel into my thumbnail from doing this so much. And once it's all on the counter, I collect it neatly, and then I wipe it on the floor. And this is where I say, kids, stay in school. I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like this. So kids, if you want to make a mess like me, you got to stay in school. So to see if this fits, I tuck it in at the outside corner closest to me, then using my thumbs, I press down. It does not want to, so I'm going to take 1/10 of a millimeter off of your lens. And I'm going to hit retouch. You can always cut more off of a lens. You can never add it back on. So I've calibrated my machine where it cuts a little bit larger the first time around, and if need be, I'll take it down some more. The right lens takes me a little bit more time, but once I get the size perfect, I flip it over and cut the left. Now, for those of you in America who have never learned the metric system, a millimeter is the distance between my thumbnails. So I'm going to take 1/10 of that distance off around the circumference of your lens until it fits into your frame easily. I do not want to force it into the frame because that can cause the frame to warp, or even worse, roll. If you imagine this like a gutter, the same as like the gutter on your house, if I put it in too tight, it would force the lens to push outward and roll the frame, and that will shorten the life of the frame, and we cannot have that. So the water jets have just kicked back in, although I'm just going to put more optical sawdust on there as soon as this comes out, but I just want my $30,000 machine to feel like it's helping out and doing its part. Yeah, the aspheric, as I was saying, when you buy lenses online, they start with plastic lenses and they charge you for that. And then if you want to upgrade to the polycarbonate, which is 40% thinner and lighter than plastic, you pay an upgrade fee for that. And then if you want them aspheric, where it's a flatter curvature. You don't get that bulging fishbowl effect like you do with cheap, inexpensive lenses. They charge you an upgrade fee for that. Well, that's where I start for free at the 3rd tier. After you've already paid for 2 upgrades for everyone else, I start there for free and go up from there. So these are nothing but the highest quality ophthalmic lenses you're going to get from me. So again, I scrape this off of your lens onto the counter, and once it's on the counter, you know the deal, onto the floor. Kids, stay in school. All right, so see if this fits. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner, and then using my thumbs, I press down. That snaps in easily. I'm going to do the same thing for your left lens. I'm going to flip that over to the left and hit start. And just like before, the calipers are going to come down, but this time they're going to trace the shape of the left side of your frame, starting onto the concave side of the lens first, closest to your eyelashes, and then it's going to move over and trace the convex side of the lens, which sits away from your face. That will be the end of your vocabulary lesson today, convex and concave. I'm going to have to figure out a new vocabulary word for your next set of lenses you get from me. And I know she hates me telling this story. Yep, Sheree, you know what story I'm going to tell. But I met Sheree, many, many years ago. Believe it or not, she was my arresting officer when I got arrested. And we became friends, and we've been talking ever since then. Of course, when someone puts you in handcuffs, especially a beautiful woman puts you in handcuffs, it's very easy to befriend them. But yeah, I had to go to, I missed my court date. That's why she arrested me. I got a sticker on my license plate that had expired, and I drove with it still. And I got a ticket, and I forgot to go to court because they write the tickets months in advance. And it was either 8-9, which is what, August 9th. I couldn't remember if it was 8-9 or 9-8 at 8 in the morning or 8-9 at 9 in the morning. Whatever it was, I think it was 8-9 at 9. And I realized at 5 o'clock I missed my court date. I called the magistrate. They said, no problem, just come down Monday. We'll get it all straightened out. Or Saturday, they show up at my house to arrest me. So yes, that is on my record. I have been arrested for failing to appear in court on an expired sticker for a license plate. So anybody out there who needs, one of those bad boys to run in your gang, I'm the guy. So, your lens is done. I'm going to pull the sticker off your lens. I'm going to leave that red dot on there to measure in a little bit, but for now I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 88. I want to inspect your lens to make sure it's cut right. I'm going to put it in just over that red dot, get everything lined up perfectly, and I'm reading, oh man, I miscut this. This is terrible. You're not going to be able to see out of this. I'm kidding. Plus 50, minus 2. So this is where you make your high school algebra teacher happy when you say, I'll never use algebra at my job. Well, it looks like we have to. So if you had 50 cents and someone borrowed $1, you'd be $1.50 in the hole. We are there, minus 150. So we are dead on there. And now I'm just going to wait, and we'll inspect the left lens when it cuts out. So Sheree, this is a really nice two-tone Calvin Klein frame. Next time, why don't you buy it from me, okay? That way you won't have to pay for your lenses. Remember, free prescription lenses when you buy the frames from me. You're still going to get free shipping. So if you notice your lens is completely flat around the edges, just like a nickel, if I were to take this out, it would stand up on its own. Now it's actually going to get the bevel on there, so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. Round and round it goes, round and round. Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. Man, that Geico song has been stuck in my mind all day. You can't live on just boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. You're going to need socks and belts, socks and belts, socks and belts, socks and belts. Maybe even a cufflink or two. Alright, Sheree, you're going to have to arrest me for bad singing and bad humor. What's the charge on that? Again, anyone needs the bad guy for their posse, I'm the guy. And I must have freaked out the court system because they've never been back to arrest me since. I think they knew who they're dealing with. So I think I scared them off the first time around. So again, last of the rough edges. Let me go back to my handstone real quick. Quick safety bevel. quick thumbnail scraping that off, and instead of putting it on the counter, how about if I just drop that straight onto the floor from here? My wife hates it when I make a mess back here. Sorry, honey. I'll make it up to you on our next anniversary. So, I'm going to tuck the lens in at the outside corner, and using my thumbs, I press down at the nose. That snaps in perfect. I'm going to take this block off, pull that sticker off, dry everything off there so I can look inside the machine. I'm going to put it back on 94, which is the axis of your left eye, which reads plus 50 minus 1 1/4. I am getting plus 50 minus 1 1/4. We are perfect. We're dead on. Your pupillary distance is 61.5. So I'm up where my thumb is at. I'm going to place the 0 of my PD stick on your right lens at 0. And when you look over here, we're getting 61.5 is between 61 and 62. That is perfect. I do want to clean my red dots off your lenses and my fingerprints. Since I know you're in law enforcement, you won't be able to turn me into the FBI and collect that big reward that's out on me. So I'm going to just clean your lenses off. I'm going to hold them up to the light to inspect. And by the way, your anti-glare coating, I never explained how that works. What it does is it eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but from street lights, stoplights, computer screen, overhead lights. The second feature that I really like, it's 3 features in one. The anti-glare, which we just covered, but it's also anti-reflection. If you notice, you can't see my reflection back in here. So if someone takes a picture with a flash, you won't see the flash lit up. The third feature that I like, the practical side, is it comes with the best scratch coating in the business. So I'm going to set these down on the counter and make sure they're in standard alignment before I send them back to you. I have one ear that's higher than the other, so when I press down on mine, they wobble on the counter. I make sure yours have no wobble. They're going to be in a 3-point stance, 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. Do the same thing on the other side. Press down. There is no wobble. I'm going to make sure each temple overlaps perfectly. And of course, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. So if you get these and they're too loose or too tight or high on one side, if you're like me, you have one ear that's higher than the other, just stop by and ask them if they do it for free. And it should only take 30 seconds to a minute to get these adjusted. So if anyone out there has any questions about what I can and can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the contact me button on the website. Sheree, I hope you enjoyed watching your glasses being made, and everyone else got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.